The Grudge, Ghost, Poltergeist, The Conjuring, and Paranormal Activity. Now, what do these all have in common? Ghosts. Now, don't get too afraid. This is no horror movie. However, that doesn't mean we won't get our fair share of spooks along the way. See, while many of these movies may just be movies, some of them are actually true stories. Now, I know, I just said ghosts are real. Well, they are. Now, we don't know exactly what a ghost is. So today, I'll tell you just that, along with looking at some historical accounts of ghosts and ghost sightings and possible places that you may see them, along with tools that help investigators actually find them. So let's get investigating. So what exactly are ghosts? There are different definitions of ghosts and what people consider them to be. The English one from Britannica states that spirits are actually ghost-like entities who are like nebulous likeness, so they can be the figure of a person, or they can be considered orbs that fly around through cameras. Now, obviously, cameras, it's risky. People can think that they're edited, even faked. But it actually comes from the ancient notion that the spirit is separate from the body. When we die, our soul departs from our body and actually lives longer than we do. In Japanese religion, Goryo is the vengeful spirit of the dead. They actually are brought up when the person dies from a government or politician that is wronged in their lifetime. So when they die, it brings about death and destruction, disease, natural disasters. But when we move along the Asian lands, China brings a different point of view. Shen, as they call it, is when the spirit rises and ascends when they die. But it doesn't always take that path. Gai is when they actually stay in their grave and become dark and passive, and even aggressive. But obviously, no matter what you call it, a ghost is a ghost, but the definitions remain the same. But let's move on and hold a seance and see what some ghostly images may bring us. From History.com, the first story of a ghost actually comes from Pliny the Younger in AD, where he talks about an old man with chains around him walking around his house and haunting it. That's Pliny the Younger. But that's not the only one. We actually move forward into 856 AD, where they talk about a poltergeist. Now, a poltergeist is a group of ghosts that cause actual physical damage to things. They throw things around, break things. That's kind of weird, right? But the places we talk about are places like this, the Stanley Hotel. Now, may sound familiar. Anyone ever seen The Shining? That's actually the Stanley Hotel. It was based off of a book called The Shining, made by Stephen King. Now, this hotel isn't actually known just for the book, though. It did bring its popularity for the movie, but this place is actually known mostly for its ghost sightings. The ballroom and the theater is actually one of the main places that is actually seen and experienced things, along with room 217. If that sounds familiar, that's from The Shining. But moving on from hotels, we're brought with ships. The Queen Mary. Now, may sound familiar. It's one of the most popular ships that have had ghost sightings. Now, the first-class pool area is actually one of the most popular places that a ghost has been sighted. A little girl by the name of Little Jackie is around 6 years old, and you can actually see and hear her crying. This is because she had lost her mom, and she is still maraining, trying to find her mother on the ship. Kind of sad. But how exactly did they catch these girls' voices? This is where we dig through our investigator's bag and try to see what tools can help us. So, you've heard of psychics and mediums. I myself have personally experienced some things, but obviously that's not exactly trustworthy due to a personal bias that a person can have. But if we can't trust these, then what can we trust? We can try to trust technology. So on websites like mentalfloss.com, you can actually find tools that help investigators. This is a spirit box. It shifts through radio frequencies that tries to help the ghost communicate and define whether it's a person speaking or the ghost speaking. As the radio frequencies are on a constant shuffle, it finds words to help the ghost communicate towards you. I have used one of these, and I have actually had names come through that's like a little too much that could be coincidence, you know? But if we can't find this, how are we supposed to know where the ghost actually is? That's where a K2 comes in. A K2 is an EMF, or electromagnetic frequency detector. Now, ghosts give off a sort of radiation or energy that can actually be picked up on through this device. As soon as it hits red, there's a ghost near you. So, good luck with that. I've also used one of these before, and it's a little weird because you'll just be walking around and all of a sudden it'll spike. But of course, these can both be affected by other technologies that are surrounding it. So of course, there's still some bias around it, thinking that it could be tampered with. But, you know, I'll leave that up to you to decide. But of course, I can see it on all of your faces right now. You're thinking, okay, this could all be false. This could all be circumstantial. What if the ghost is actually just things being tampered with? What if it's just a person? What if it's all fake? I get that. But I want to offer to you today to possibly go exploring for yourself. So try to visit the Museum of Shadows. It's in Omaha, and you can actually walk around and look at like all the haunted items that they have actually like collected throughout the years. I've been there myself, and it's honestly really cool. I totally recommend you guys go. But that's entirely up to you. So as we finish, I want to go over that we talked about what a ghost actually is, some history of the ghost, and then the tools that we have used for our research. So, thank you all for listening, and please tell me about any experiences that you have in the future. Thank you.